touch on this. I got these screenshots from Laura Lynn. You can grab them and look. I guess the most succinct way to say this is, it's not sarcasm. It's not biting irony. It is just sick stuff that some of the people in the Twitter sphere, the X sphere, are putting out. I'm not going to give the names of any channels because barely anybody's watching them. But I guess I'll put this up very, very quickly to show you. This is something that one of the, I'm just going to be on this real quick. On the right there, you see a photo. It looks like a chihuahua that's just come out of surgery. And there's tape around the nose, tape around the chest area or whatever. And there's this, like, it's like less than sophomoric. It's like weaker than junior high. It's really, really, really sick what some people are doing. And, you know, and you could say, well, can't you take it? Don't you have a thick skin? Let me tell you something. The podcasters, we got a thick skin. We've all been through hell, excuse my language, and back, and ask the Lord's forgiveness. We ain't got, you know, so we got more than a thick skin. It ain't about any of us, and it ain't about anybody. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to Jonathan and Susie, you have thrown every nasty stinking thing that you can. So, are we, you know, I'm not even mentioning that because I'm appalled that you would put something out like that about Jonathan or about Susie or anything like that. I'm actually putting this out there, folks, because it leads into what we're just going to touch on tonight. And I'll just say it because we're being conversational. Some folks are really playing around with things I don't think they really understand. And this ain't a threat. It's just an observation that the Lord's not playing around. And I would encourage everybody to walk in the fear of the Lord. Now, let me see what I have brought up next here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to just tell a story. And folks, I told you I'm being a little cryptic tonight. We won't be cryptic tomorrow night. We'll be really sharp and focused. And Joshua is going to bring both barrels of his double barrel Bible shotgun and just let it go. And it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. All right. I got a call today. And it's going to take me a while to continue to unpack this conversation and then to be able to present some elements of it in a cogent, like time-efficient manner. But I'm just going to talk about some things. I received a text message today that preceded that conversation, and it simply said Ishbosheth. Now, who or what is Ishbosheth? All right, so when there was conflict, King Saul was always chasing David. David refused to take matters in his own hands. He wouldn't touch the person that the Lord had anointed. He wasn't going to harm him physically, but eventually Saul died. What happened right afterwards was that Abner and the others in the close, entourage of Saul took Saul's son, Ishbosheth, and made him king. Now, the next 2 or 3 chapters have a lot of intrigue, have a lot of things going on. In 2 Samuel 2, you have Asahel, who was on the the King David's on Ishbosheth's side or Saul's side, and chasing Joab. I want to get it right, but this guy was really fleet of foot, and Joab, I believe I've got this right, or it was one of Joab's men, I apologize, but said, stop chasing me. Stop chasing me. I'm going to have to take care of you. But he wouldn't. And so he had to reverse thrust a spear in this guy, and he fell dead and whatnot. And so there's all this intrigue going on. And that's why I'm going to come back to this when I can explain things a little more clearly. But after a period of time, Abner, who was with Saul and then was backing up Ishbosheth, Abner was accused by Ishbosheth of some wicked stuff, and Abner had just had it, and so he became loyal to David, and David and Abner had, made an arrangement, and everything was good, and then Joab killed Abner. So it's very, very, very confusing, and I am going to spend some more time on this, but I took just a couple of verses and wanted to... I may have mislabeled this. This is 2 Samuel chapter 2, verse 1. I just want to point this out. Now the war, or maybe I do that, but now the war between the house of Saul and the house of David was protracted, and David grew stronger and stronger, while the house of Saul grew weaker and weaker. Everybody that out of former loyalties or just, this is just what you do, man, was sticking with the house of Saul, they were in for nothing but continual disappointment because the house of Saul grew weaker and weaker. I want to back up. 2 Samuel 2, verse 25. The Benjamites rallied to Abner, formed a single unit, and took their stand atop a hill. Then Abner called out to Joab, "Must the sword devour forever?" See, this is when Joab is now striking back, coming after Abner. "Do you not realize that this will only end in bitterness? How long before you tell the troops to stop pursuing their brothers?" And I want you to look at, so this is Abner, who had been loyal to Saul, saying, how long is this going to go on? Don't you realize that you're just going to bring, why are we having this war between brothers? And Joab answers, "As surely as God lives," Joab replied, "if you had not spoken up, the troops would have continued pursuing their brothers until morning." So you have these two military leaders come into an understanding that this is crazy. It's crazy for us to just be pursuing each other, trying to kill each other, all this stuff. But folks, people do a lot of things. Now, I want to read this. They'll do a lot of things when there's power and money on the table. And I know I'm going to come back to this in an episode or two and try to lay out something that's a little more clear. But maybe right now I'm just getting you familiar with this story, or at least you confused enough that you'll dig into it in 2 Samuel chapters roughly 2 through 4. When Ishbosheth, son of Saul, heard that Abner had died in Hebron, he lost courage, and all was dismayed, and all Israel was dismayed. Now look what happened. Spending some time on this. See, Abner had been wickedly killed, and it wasn't David's idea for that to happen. But when Ishbosheth, son of Saul, heard that Abner had died in Hebron, he lost courage. The wind just went out of his sail. That's me talking. And all Israel was dismayed. Saul's son had two men who were leaders of raiding parties. One was named Baanah, and the other Rechab. They were sons of Rimmon, the Beerothite of the tribe of Benjamin. Beeroth is considered part of Benjamin because the Beerothites fled to Gittaim and have lived there as foreigners to this day. I'm just going to read this. And Jonathan, son of Saul, had a son who was lame in his feet. He was 5 years old when the report about Saul and Jonathan came from Jezreel. His nurse picked him up and fled, but as she was hurrying to escape, he fell and became lame. His name was Mephibosheth. We're not going to talk about that much now. I just want to read this last thing. Rechab and Baanah, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, set out and arrived at the house of Ishbosheth in the heat of the day while the king was taking his midday nap. They entered the interior of the house as if to get some wheat and stabbed him in the stomach. Then Rechab and his brother Baanah slipped away. Why did I read all that? I read that to say there was just turmoil on who was going to be the king of all of Israel. And I'll just say this. everybody that was on the wrong side, it didn't work out so good. And some of those that were on the wrong side and tried to make a deal, Abner, for example, and in full, clean, good conscience, came to an understanding with David, he was still taken out by Joab. And so I'm going to be cryptic here and simply say that as it relates to Daystar, I told you I'm just talking. I personally, I don't have any dog in the fight with Christian television. I don't watch Christian television. I know a lot about Christian television that would make me not want to watch Christian television. But there's a lot of gospel and even mixtures of gospel. But that's it. What the Lord wants to do, the Lord is going to do. Okay? What the Lord wants to do, the Lord is going to do. And a lot of God's people have prayed, have sacrificed, have given. And I'll just say this. If the Lord wants to shut Daystar down, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Wonderful. But I'll tell you one thing that's not going to happen. This is my opinion. Happens to be right. The Lord is not gonna allow the chicanery and the subterfuge and the usurping and the lying. He is not gonna let somebody stay in a position that does not rightfully belong to them. And so I will put Rachel's name on that, but I'll put anybody's name on that thinks that they can grab, they can steal, they can connive, they can make a deal. And folks, I got to say this, I'm backing up. I said this would be a bit cryptic, which maybe that's just a cop-out for saying, oh, he's all over the place. It happens sometimes. I tell you what, when the IP address forensics and the other kind of IT forensics come out about some of these social media sites and people claiming they have no connection or nothing like that. I don't know where that's going to lead, but I think it's going to be incriminating. So can I just leave that part right there? I guess I'll just leave that part right there. Folks, the Lord in this season, this time, this period in the history of the American church that we are in, that the Lord is cleaning things up, not winking at things anymore, exposing things and getting rid of things that need things in the church that shouldn't be in the church. I'm going to say this one more time and then we'll move. I'm going to play a Doug Weiss clip. I just know you're just wanting to see a Doug Weiss clip. Usurping and stealing a position and asking the Lord and all of God's people to be okay with that, that just ain't going to happen. All right. There, I said that. Now, this was really bothering me. I say bothering. I mean, it was like stirred up and I just couldn't get away from it. And I'm going to play you about a 2-minute clip from Doug Weiss and Joseph Z. from November of 2023. And before I play that clip, I want to just help us note the significance of the timing of this. November of 23 is barely a month or two into the whole IHOP thing, the Mike Bickle IHOP thing. We're barely into that. All right. And it's also about 1 year before the eruption of the whole Daystar scandal. So I'm going to play this clip, and I just removed the PDF. So this will play the first time I click the button, and let's watch this together, please.
But this is one of our dad's rules. Okay, not to be sexually immoral.
That's good.
Okay, so then it goes down, and it says this at the end of that chapter. It says, "To him who overcomes," and he's talking about this, sexual immorality in church. Yeah. Right now, Joseph, 50% or more of men are addicted to pornography inside the church walls.
Wow.
And the pastors as well.
Wow.
Now, if you have a church that has 50% cancer in it,
Yeah.
it's not going to run a marathon.
No, it's not.
And it's not going to have the authority to put people in school boards, to run for office. It's not going to send people into finances. It's not going to develop international ministries inside its walls.
Yeah.
It's not going to birth extra churches.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? So what happens is this scripture says, to him who overcomes, and he's talking about the spirit of sexual immorality inside the wall of the church, not outside,
Yes.
inside the wall of the church, I will. Now, when Jesus says, I will, as the post-resurrected Lion of the Most High God,
Yes.
you better believe he will. Now, he says, I will give authority over the nations.
The fascinating part, Dr. Doug, is this. You're talking about the spirit of Jezebel.
Oh, yeah.
And the spirit of Jezebel
Well, that's her name.
It's her name.
Right.
A sexualized spirit in
Inside
the
the walls
church.
of the church.
That is, I mean, we read it, it's there. That's mind-blowing.
Oh, no. And
Mind-blowing.
she's still here in the church in different
Yeah.
formats. And, but I will give authority over the nations. Now, I want to walk you through that practically.
Yeah, come on.
It doesn't matter what your gift is. I will give authority over the nations.
That's awesome.
It doesn't matter what your mom and dad's background was. I will give, all you have to do is conquer one thing,
Come on.
and I will give you authority. And so why churches don't have authority in their city is because the church is sexually stuck. And so we wrote the
Now, a lot of people will watch that and go, "Hey, that sounds good. I mean, we don't need sexual immorality in the church, and that's great. And we don't have authority if something's got a hold in us. How can we have authority over that, folks?" I said this earlier on purpose. The enemy is pretty slick, and so we're going to go back over this here just a little bit, and we're going to do some famous Ohio for Freedom backupisms, but I think if I just start, that looks about right there. I'm going to play this, and then we're going to do some stopping and starting. And I hope you get something out of this, but this is what we do. We're going to do
the
this.
spirit of sexual immorality inside the wall of the church, not outside,
Yes.
inside the wall of the church. I will. Now, when Jesus
Okay, now, I'll just say this. Sexual immorality in the church, yeah, we don't want that. But I would argue, and many people have argued, that the whole false premise of Doug Weiss' divorce and then his involvement with Mary and Joni. By the way, Doug Weiss, I believe, is 61 years old. And so I didn't realize Joni was 4 years older. That's immaterial. If that's right, that's what my phone told me. But see, he's contradicting himself already. Because he's trying to and keep in mind, November of 2023, he got married in June of 2023. So he's still parading this immorality to the whole world as though it's not immorality. And so maybe I digress. And then there's also this issue of baby lamb. But it's easy to overlook that when he gives sounds like glowing affirmation and praise about the Lamb of God and the Lion
the
of God.
spirit of sexual immorality inside the wall of the church, not outside,
Yes.
inside the wall of the church, I will. Now, when Jesus says, I will, as the post-resurrected Lion of the Most High God,
Yes.
you better believe he will. Now, he said,
Now, what Jesus says that he will do as the post-resurrected Lion of God, he will do. So that all sounds good. But I want you to listen to what Doug Weiss is going to say.
I will give authority over the nations.
The fascinating part, Dr. Doug, is this.
Okay, let me just set this up for you. Doug Weiss is lying. I took the time to, and folks, I'm telling you, these small details are huge. Okay? They might have done a great job when you get to the oil change, when you went and got your oil changed, and your wipers, okay, do the wipers. Oh, the cabin filter. Oh, yeah, do the cabin filter. Oh, hey, about your tire pressure, we're going to top that off for you, no charge. And all that sounds good. But if you drive away and your car was supposed to get 5 quarts of oil and they drained the oil but forgot to put any in, that's a problem. If they drain the oil and there's 2 quarts of oil where there's supposed to be 5 quarts of oil, there's a problem. And I'm going to tell you what, there's some real problem in this garbage that Joseph Z is going along with. And here we go.
You're talking about the spirit of Jezebel.
Oh, yeah.
And the spirit of Jezebel
Well, that's her name.
It's her name.
Right.
A sexualized spirit in
Inside
the
the
church.
walls of the church.
That is, I mean, we read it, it's there. That's mind-blowing.
Oh, no.
You know, Jezebel did, shall we read it again, folks? Yeah, there was a sexualized component with Jezebel, but that wasn't all there was. My servants to be sexually immoral in verse 20, and to eat food sacrificed to idols. Now, I am not dismissing the sexual immorality part of that. No, not at all. But I would say to you that this is the guy who the lady that he pursued, the lady that he got into at least an emotional affair with while he was still married, and before anybody knew, oh, they were tight. I'm not going to relitigate that. And then you're taking private jet trips. I talked to Barry Owen from the Trinity Foundation the other day. I believe that there was like close to $1 million worth of jet fuel spent on Joni being able to get away and see Doug. But we're supposed to forget about the food and the idols and the partaking of the idolatry of the world at that time. All right, y'all. If you'd like to support the program, that's how we exist. And I'm going to, put in a thank you to everybody that goes to our website, ohioforfreedom.com, on the donate tab, PayPal. You can use your Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, Zelle. Our link is right there. Thank you, 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 thank you. And our P.O. Box is Ohio for Freedom, P.O. Box 344, Mason, Ohio. You all are the reason that we've been at this full time for more than a year. Very thankful. Very, 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 very thankful for your continued support. Tune in tomorrow when I have our dear brother Joshua Simone. We're going to make some history tomorrow. We really, really are. Thank you. Please join us. I'm looking forward to it. So until next time, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless this beautiful state of Ohio, from which we originate, the United States of America. And we send our greetings to friends all over the world in Jesus' name. Good night, y'all.
I hear the sweet sound of freedom, and I won't be long.
No, I don't forget to turn it on.